Hi, Jason, Wolfhound, Bruce of Liddesdale, GAOMG, Apex Human. All of my DNA is live on the YFull public tree that everybody can see, and everything that I've done also has been written, and it's on Amazon, and all of my auto telling and documenting over 20 years is all on YouTube. And when I've been writing about the whole human singularity of our ancestors, as well as writing about them and living my experiences, from the Bruce that's inside of me. And, he doesn't just say like, hey, it's Robert Bruce, get up and go fight and write and do all those things. But it's a huge energy that I have inside of me from DNA, from blood, from centuries of my lineage. And that's the whole fight right now with AI, is that the 1%, the programmers, have all the control. They put it in the program to hedge everything. So all truth is based on whatever the 1% programmers dictate the truth is. I was in advertising sales for Rupert Murdoch and his company, Move Inc., Realtor.com, and there's clients they spend billions of dollars on advertising on stupid stuff, and consumers spend trillions of dollars buying that stupid stuff. So the advertising works, and all AI, it does hedging. It suggests, underneath your conversations what you should do next, and people are going to take those suggestions. They're going to do everything that the 1% programmers tell them to do. It's advertising, it's soft advertising through manipulation of language. And that's what my DNA, it's hard facts, like my fights, having cancer, coming back and winning my MMA fight, proving my Bruce will, all of those things are live on YouTube. But the 1% control all information, and they can make my whole online signature disappear, and nobody knows who I am. But again, I've been writing about the human singularity, and it's the only defense that we really have against the 1%, and certainly AI, as it becomes a singularity, learning from all of its other AI garbage that's out there. And you're going to lose all the human soul, you're going to lose everything. And that's exactly what I'm fighting for. And this fight is so much bigger than I'm even talking about. But I wrote about it back. This is my book. That's all he wrote. And I'm talking about the human singularity and making your DNA, your molecular signature, who you are, with your documented writing, your word, along with your actions, and having it all combined together. And that's another thing, is Robert the Bruce, my ancestor through his firstborn son, is that he rose up 1314, defeated the oppression of the English at the time that wanted to subjugate all of the Scots. And that's in my DNA. And I rose up, when I did, writing all of my stuff. And I've written with intent, writing back from my first trilogy, and writing about the Wolfhound, my protagonist character, taking down Charles II, which today, with the elections coming up on May 7th, if all the Scots vote yes, it gives them the chance for that second referendum, and Scotland becomes independence. And it's everything that I wrote about the Wolfhound, that I already knew back then who I was going to become today. The greatest author of my generation, utilizing all of the technology of the 21st century, as well as my character, William the Wolfhound Mitchiner, defeating Charles II, then just as Jason the Wolfhound Bruce of Liddesdale, GAOMG, Apex Human, is taking down Charles III. That's not even he's not even, a Stewart. He's not a Bruce. He's not a Plantagenet. He's, a German with a fake surname. I can't believe how much I've proven and everything with the surname changes that they had to do, and the loss of my ancestors. when Sir Robert Bruce was killed at Dublin Moor, what his son had to go through. Lost Hermitage Castle, lost the hereditary lordship of Liddesdale. And the same thing happened to my line to William Harden Best, that I went from Bruce the Best to Mitchiner. And it's all documented. Everything's there. But the Windsors that are quote-unquote royalty by paper, nobody asked them to take a DNA test. But me, I've proven everything. It's scientifically impossible for any human being to disprove my DNA, my Y-DNA on YFull. It's there, my STRs with modern testers. It comes down to, it's right in the Livingstons of Calendar and Stewart's of Appin. And, I'm not descended from a Stewart. I'm not descended from Livingstons of Calendar. It is proven I descend from the Bruce line through Liddesdale, that is his firstborn son. And I wrote about the human singularity and the importance of combining your ancestors, your dutkas, everything about you that I wrote here. I wrote about my ancestors. Do I have an ounce of the courage that my ancestor Thomas, who's a Bruce, and didn't even know it? And that's the other thing, is all of the stuff that I wrote and that my ancestor that I wrote about did without even knowing that they're a Bruce, fighting with everything they have to make it as a gold miner, to make it through battles, the fight, and the loss of my line, was tremendous. And that AI programming and everything is belittling my true ancestors and denying me of who I am. This is the biggest fight right now, is for the human soul. That's what your Y-DNA, that's what I'm proving, and why it's so important on May 7th. On May 7th,